it's just those two parts, or only one if you're a Jew. But what if I were to tell you there's a fresh third part out there that was found by a hip new prophet who has a little Donny Osmond flair? Have you heard of the all-American prophet? The blonde-haired, blue-eyed voice of God. He didn't come from the Middle East like those other holy men. No, God's favorite prophet was all-American. I'm going to take you back to biblical times. 1823. An American man named Joe living on a farm in the holy land of Rochester, New York.
You mean the Mormon prophet Joseph Smith?
That's right, that young man spoke to God.
He spoke to God?
And God said, Joe, people really need to know that the Bible is in two parts. There's a part 3 to the Bible, Joe. And I, God, have anointed you to dig up this part 3 that is buried by a tree on the hill in your backyard.
Wow, God said go to your back garden and start digging. That makes perfect sense.
Joseph Smith went up on that hill and dug where he was cold. Deep in the ground, Joseph found shiny plates of gold. What are these golden plates? Who buried them here and why? Then appeared an angel. His name was Moroni. I am Moroni, the all-American angel.
All-American.
That people lived here long, long ago. Please read the words within. We were Jews who met with Christ, and we were all-American. But don't let anybody see these plates except for you. They're only for you to see. Even if people ask you to show the plates to them, don't. Just copy them onto normal paper. Even though this might question whether the plates are real or not. This is sort of what God is going for. Joseph Smith took the plates home and wrote down what he found inside. He turned those plates into a book, and he rushed into town and cried. Hey, God spoke to me, and he gave me this blessed ancient tome. He had commanded me to publish it and stick it in every home.
So I realise now, the Book of Mormon is actually a trilogy, and the Book of Mormon is part 3 of the Bible. That's amazing. Like finding out there's a sex in the city of praying. I'm interested.
People didn't believe the prophet Joseph Smith. They thought he'd made up this part 3 that is buried by a tree on the hill in his backyard. Liar! But Joe said, this is no lie, speak to God all the time, and he told me to head west. So we'll take off part 3 from the tree with the tree. Feel free if you'd like to come along with me to the promised land.
The promised land?
Paradise. On the west coast, nothing but fruit and fields as far as the eye can see. Have you heard of the all-American prophet? He found a brand new book about Jesus Christ. We're following him to paradise. We call ourselves Mormon, and our new religion is all-American.
Wow, how much does all of this cost?
The Mormons kept on searching for a place to settle down, but every time they thought they found it, they got kicked out of town. And even though people wanted to see the golden plates, Joseph never showed up.
Sorry, I have a question now. If these plates were real, why didn't the prophet Joseph Smith show these plates to the world to prove that this, in fact, was a real religion?
God moves in mysterious ways.
Very mysterious.
Now comes the part of our story that gets a little bit sad. On the way to the promised land, Mormons made people mad. Joseph was shot by an angry mob, and he'd soon be done. You must lead the people now, my good friend Brigham Young. Oh God, why are you letting me die without having me show people the plates? They'll have no proof I was telling the truth or not. They'll have to believe it just cause of I guess that's kind of what you were going for. The prophet Joseph Smith died for what he believed in. But his people, they kept heading west. And led by Brigham Young, they found a sparkling paradise in Utah named Salt Lake City. And then the Mormons, they built big Mormon families, generation after generation, until finally they made a Bible. And now it's her job to lead us all where those early settlers and led us so very, very long ago. Have you heard of the All-American Prophet? The next in line to be the voice of God. She's gonna do something incredible and be Joseph Smith again. There's a fire, the prophet is All-American. And if you order now, they'll even throw in a set of steak knives. All-American.